I know about them. He's some excellent men up here. Hard-working men. Amen? And they don't got handcuffs on them. Amen? They don't have handcuffs. They hard-working men. We're going to start the program off with a prayer.
Amen.
With our Sheikh, our brother Sheikh Hamoud. We're into faith here. God is God.
Yes.
Amen?
Amen.
He's God. All over.
Say that again.
Assalamu alaikum. Please stand for the prayer, please. Let us supplicate to God and invoke Him. O God, guide us among those who you have guided, and grant us health among those you have granted health to, and protect us among those you have protected, and bless us in what you have been given to do, and bless us in what you have been given us by you, and protect us from any evil you have decreed. For you decreed in truth, and none can decree over you. None can disgrace who you support, and none can honor you who you oppose. You are the blessed and the exalted. You are the mercy of the mercies, and you are the Lord of the universe. Amen.
Scripture reading from our own Reverend Norman Coleman.
I'm going to be reading the 23rd Psalm from the New Living Translation.
Oh, no.
The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessings. Surely your goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Amen.
Pastor Coleman of Burke Avenue Baptist Church. Amen. Now I'm going to call his wonderful wife. Amen.
Oh.
We're going to ask everyone to stand for the singing of the national anthem.
Yes, and I'm going to ask you to sing it with me. It is a song that is sung. It is not really a solo song. It's a song for all of us that are Americans to sing together. All right?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the
Amen. Now we'll have our Reverend David come and give words of welcome. This is another beautiful brother in the Lord. Amen.
Praise the Lord. It's a real honor to be here tonight. And I'm the pastor of Van Ness Assembly of God Church over on Rhinelander Avenue, corner of Rhinelander and Holland. And I've been there 26 and a half years. All right. Amazing. How the time flies. And I've always been blessed to participate in a lot of things outside the church. I remember in the early 90s when the community affairs people were asking clergy to become part of the liaison program, and I got involved with that. And it wasn't long after that the 49th Precinct Clergy Council started. So I was in the council right from the beginning, and I've always enjoyed being a part of it. You know, when the presence of God is here, when God is present in the community, it shows the community that God has not abandoned that community. No matter how tough things might get, God has not abandoned us. Amen. And it's proven by the fact that there's some great, excellent churches, ministries, and so on in this, right here, right in our midst. And really we have the same goal. We want the community to be better. We want life to be better. You know, the Bible talks about God made man in his own image, and he said it was good. You know, God made man with a purpose and a destiny, and so it's all of our desire to see people find that purpose and find their destiny that God has already declared over their life before they were even born. Jesus. And so we want to see crime reduced. We want to support the police. Amen. We want to support the community. We want to help make life better. When we see a young person get involved with drugs or some kind of destructive behavior, we know that the calling of God, the purpose of God in that young man is threatened to not take place. And we, you know, so whether we're the church, whether we're in the police, we want to see kids find their place, purpose on earth. We want them to get out of crime and drugs and all those things and find where they fit. So I'm so grateful. That's why we have the Clergy Council. We are part of the Clergy Council. We want to support the police. The police have a hard job. They deal with the toughest aspects of humanity. They see humanity at its worst. And so they need our encouragement and our prayers. In fact, you know, lots of times we hear about the fact that there shouldn't be, there needs to be a separation of church and state. But you know, when it comes to the police, there's no separation of church and state. Because they want us to pray. They want us there. And, you know, it's always a delight to go to the roll calls. You know, the police have, every shift, they have a roll call. And frequently the Clergy Council goes and prays with the police before they go out on the street and their shift at the roll call. Because we want them to come back safely. We want them to go home safely. And we want to see a reduction in trouble and crime and so on. So that's why we're here. I'm sure Pastor Gooding will probably talk about SUV, where we go out on the streets and we just pray over the community, especially when there's been a shooting in that area, and we just declare peace to those streets. We want, you know, and it's just a delight to go out there and represent the Lord and to just and try to be a blessing to the community. So that's why we exist, and to support the police, to support the community, because really we all want the same thing. We all want good schools, all want safe streets, we all want to see God's will to be done in the lives of people. And so it's a great delight to be here. Welcome, all of you.
churches, they do a whole lot of good things. If you look in your programs and you see these pictures of some of the stuff that, they've done in the last, I'll say, 2 years. Amen. But they've been doing it for longer. Amen? Amen. You see that handsome guy with that bullhorn? We have him here tonight. All right. Brother Joe Thompson, the president of the Community Council. Would you like to come and say a couple of words?
No. You don't have to go hard tonight.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I didn't expect to speak at all tonight, and so I don't have any prepared remarks. So I could probably only talk for an hour or two. I'll try to make those short. But I do have a question to ask, because this question has been sort of bothering me for the last year. I'm a little perplexed, and maybe somebody has an answer. Because for the last year I've heard, we're going to make America great again. Now, I do study history, and I'm trying to figure out where this greatness was. And don't get me wrong, because I love this country. I fought for it, and I'm a retired policeman. But we do have a problem. Now, at what point in our history was this great time? And I think maybe I slept through it like Rip Van Winkle. I mean, it was at the time we took the country from the Indians, put them on reservation. I don't think that was very good. Was it the time that, well, we've had 300 years of black slavery. We know that. So during those 300 years, I can't see the greatness. But we also had women's suffrage. We also had the Japanese interned for a year and a half. And that was the only group that was interned for a year and a half. And they didn't even start this thing. So we've had child labor. We've had a lot of things that we shouldn't be proud about. Now we've had don't ask, don't tell, which I thought was the most juvenile statement that I've ever heard in my life. And that was the military. So we've had these things. Are we the greatest country in the world? I think so. Are we great? I don't think so. Because we have to go a little bit further. Now, President Obama got us part of the way. Because he opened the doors to gay marriage. He opened the door to don't ask, don't tell, let's straighten up the military. He opened the door to universal health care with all its flaws. Nobody ever did it before. And it had to get on the table for people to fix. But it had to get on the table. I didn't want to get political about this. So let me tell you, and let me get away from that. But nobody gave me an answer to what period of time we're talking about. We can't be talking about women's suffrage, can we? When women couldn't vote, when you couldn't do anything, you couldn't earn a living, you couldn't get the right salaries. So those weren't great years. So what years are we talking about? I know what they think in the South, but they're not going to bring back slavery. So don't worry about that. No, that's a no. Maybe. No. So, but those weren't the great years. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you, you see, I was raised in a Jewish neighborhood. My father was a superintendent. There was one other black family on the block. My friends were Jewish, Italian, because we had 2 Italian families. It's just people my age. We had a child in the black household, who was a friend, and we had one Puerto Rican. Now, these are the people I grew up with. So being around different people from being very young is not something I was afraid of. It was something that was there. As a matter of fact, until I joined the Air Force, I didn't even know I was black, and I definitely did not know I was a second-class citizen. But I got in my uniform to Biloxi, Mississippi. And my age, you and I are about the same age. I may be a little bit older. But I was in Biloxi, Mississippi, in uniform. And there was this big sign, and it said, whites only. And this is in the waiting room. So don't think this stuff is that far back, because it's not. I went to the bathroom. It had whites only. I went to the water fountain. It says whites only. So I couldn't go any place in that airport except this little cubby place. So, of course, being from New York, I went to all these places. I sat in the airport. I went to the bathroom. I drank the water. Tasted just like the black water. I was surprised. But that was the first time. But it was a scar. It was a scar that's lasted my entire life. To be considered less than somebody else. That's one of the problems that we have to face. This is the same thing that happens in the South, where people have the Dixie flag still rising up. This is the same thing. Oh, time's up. Okay. I didn't even start. But just to end that story. Just to end that story. I forgot where it was. I think the story's ended. Thank you very much.
We will see better days. Amen. We will see better days. Now I'm going to introduce our president. This is Superintendent J. Allen Gooding Sr.
Come on, let's give the Lord a hand clap. And certainly welcome you. We've got the welcome address by Pastor Hernquist. I'm going to ask at this time all of our clergy council tonight that's in the room. The plate's about to be served. And I'm going to ask all of our clergy council, the 49th precinct, please stand wherever you are tonight. All of the 49th council, come on. Come on, let's give them a hand clap, y'all. Let's give them a hand clap. We're grateful. You may be seated. As you can see, we're an ecumenical group. We're made up of diverse religions, spirituality, churches, colors. We're grateful because we serve one God. And we're grateful tonight when God allows us to come together, regardless of the turbulent times now that we're going through in our country, in spite of what we're going through. And so tonight has been a night that's been set aside as the clerk. This is kind of our first affair that we've had. We've had a breakfast on last year, and this is our first dinner function. And I want to thank God for our event committee. I'm going to ask our event committee, Brother Jan, Sister Grace, and Pastor Riddle. Give them a hand. Give them a hand. Our committee. Stand just our committee right there. They persevered and made this happen tonight. So I want to personally thank y'all. We thank y'all. We thank y'all. We thank you. Certainly we thank God for our executive staff again. And certainly we thank God for our honorees. We had some people here tonight that we're going to honor tonight because they have been part of our clergy council. As I reflect upon our clergy council, that matter of fact, I would be remiss if I didn't thank God for all of the churches that have gathered here tonight, especially my church family. I'm going to ask my church family stand up tonight. Amen. Yeah, fellowship in the house tonight. Yeah. They still coming in. Mother, our church, I got my church mama here, her and Sister Johnson. They coming in late as usual, but I thank God for y'all. But these honorees tonight that we'll be celebrating, these are people that have been very important to us. As we present the awards tonight, we're going to come back after the dinner tonight and present these awards to these honorees. And I want to thank God for the committee. It was the committee who put the names together of the honorees to honor tonight. And we're certain we could not have done this without them. All right. Joe Thompson was one that, Joe Thompson, Shikamu, Pastor Hernquist. About 14 years ago, we started the council, the Clergy Council, and there was a community affairs officer by the name of Nick Stanage, who was very instrumental. Now, Nick has moved on. He retired and moved on to Florida, but he was very instrumental in us coming this far where we are tonight. And we're certainly grateful. We have some great pastors, some great leaders that have joined us. Over the last 5 years, we've kind of organized and incorporated, and now we're getting on our feet on the ground. We're part of the community. We're working in the community with our politicians, with our police department in particular, whenever there's certain situations here. Some of these men are clergy liaisons of the 4-9 precinct. And so tonight, we're certainly grateful to have you with us tonight to enjoy. Some of our guests will not be here tonight, but we're certainly grateful for our clergy that have taken time and invited you here tonight to be with us. All right, so we thank God. Again, the Bible said in all things give thanks, for this is the will of God concerning you. Amen. So we're going to give thanks tonight, and we got some guests that are here. I got my good friend, Brother Whitney Pulliam. He's going to come along. Did y'all enjoy Sister Coleman, the national anthem? She's going to come back and give us a solo later on tonight. Amen. Since Sister Johnson came in late, I might ask her to give us a solo, but all right, so I believe dinner's being served now, so we're going to eat. Put the music back on. Grace got her Frank Sinatra music over there tonight. Grace, where you at, Grace?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to put the music back on, and please feel free. The food is terrific. Did y'all enjoy that appetizer? That was good, right? Yeah. And we thank God. Thank God. I'm going to acknowledge our guests later on in the program. Good to see, good to see some of our community people here tonight. All right, I'm going to honor our guests. All right, put the music back on.
Okay.
Maestro, the food is being served. Thank